Welcome. 4th and 9 in victory. We will not be doing a film study this week. We're on the bye week. We definitely will be back with our normal film study next week, getting ready for the Nebraska game. If you haven't seen our Notre Dame recap from Sunday, go back and check that out. If you haven't seen our position grade groups that was released Tuesday night, go back and check that out. But since we're on a bye week, this Notre Dame game, right, and the rushing for over 300 yards, and between the two of us since game one, there has been some things that we've seen in the run game that has been puzzling. B, as you know, in our recap, we always do something called men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but numbers can be misleading. Right. And for the first, I believe, 4 weeks that we both had the same thing, it was the opponent's rush yards. Right. And what that means when we say men lie, numbers lie, I mean, men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but they can be misleading, is we're looking at the total amount of rush yards that the other team ended with. That if you didn't watch the game, you would think we were totally dominating and stopping the run and shutting them down. But if you was watching the game, you will see the issues we were having stopping the run since game one. And as B always state, you know, that a lot of times that was happening due to us getting sacked and, you know, negative plays. Yeah, right. that went against, and especially sacks, because most sacks are 5, 10 yards, you know what I'm saying? And tackles for loss as well, that were offsetting what was really happening. So this is something that here at 4th and 9 we've been tracking since game one. And we're not looking at overall defense today. We're looking at how to fix and how we think we can fix our defensive rush woes, how we can be better in stopping the run. A lot of these games, you'll hear people say, well, we stopped the run. But if you actually look at the game and what's happening, and our basis we used on 4th-and-9, not just because it's 4th-and-9, but we use as a meter 4 yards or more, right? Like how many times is a team rushing for 4 yards or more on you? Because if they're rushing for 4 yards, they're averaging 4 yards, that's 3 times in a row. That's a first down, right? So we're not going to look at the amount of times they got 3 yards, how many times they got 2 or 1. So we're going to look at how many times teams are rushing for more than 4 yards or more on us in a game. We're going to break it down by each game. We're also going to look at how many times they're running for 10 or more yards in a game, and how many times we're stopping them for negative yards, right? And we're not accounting for sacks. We're talking about the rush game here. So looking at the first game, right, Missouri State, right? Missouri State, they, on their rush attempts, they ran for 4 yards or more 10 times in that game. That was 50% of their total rush attempts. So 50% of their total rush attempts, they gained 4 yards or more 10 times. How many times they ran the ball for over 10 yards? It was 3 times. That was 15% of their rush attempts. We did get negative yards 4 times. We stopped them to negative yards 4 times that game. So that was 20% there. So again, that's what B's always talking about. If you're giving up these yards, tackles for loss can help offset that. But again, we gave up 4 yards or more 10 times, 50% of their rush attempts. 10 yards or more 3 times, 15%. We held them 20% to get negative yards. Against Georgia Southern, they ran the ball 15 times for 4 yards or more. That was 55% of their rush attempts. For 10 yards or more, they ran it 5 times for 10 yards or more, which is 18% of their rush attempts. We held them to negative yards on the run play 2 times. That was 7% of their rush attempts. Moving on to Purdue. Purdue ran the ball for 4 yards or more 12 times. That was 63% of their rush attempts. They ran the ball for 10 yards or more 2 times, 11% of their rush attempts. Against Purdue, we got negative. We held them to negative yards on the rush 4 times. That was 21% of their rush attempts. Michigan State, they ran the ball 4 yards or more 11 times. That was 39% of their rush attempts. They ran the ball for more than 10 yards 4 times. That was 14% of their rush attempts. We held them to -4 yards. That was 4 times. I mean, we held them to negative yards on the run 4 times. That was 14% of their rush attempts. Against Michigan, Michigan ran the ball 4 yards or more 18 times. That was 67% of their rush attempts. 10 yards or more, they ran it 5 times for 10 yards or more. That's 19% of their rush attempts. We held them to negative yards 2 times on 2 rushes. That was 7% of their rush attempts. Illinois.
I don't even think. This is Illinois. Okay, I thought you were about to show the Notre Dame game. I was about to say,
yes, Nick.
that
somehow
you got to make
sure. Before Michigan,
I got you.
I just did it. All right. So Illinois, they ran the ball for 4 yards or more 19 times. That was 70% of their rush attempts. For 10 yards or more, they ran the ball 4 times for 10 yards or more. That was 37% of their rush attempts. The amount of times we held them to negative yards rushing was 1 time. That was 3% of their rush attempts. Here we go.
Jesus.
Notre Dame. Man, don't do it. Notre Dame. Oh, man. Notre Dame. They ran the ball for 4 yards or more 24 times. That was 58% of their rush attempts. The amount of times they ran the ball for 10 yards or more, 10 times. That was 24% of their rush attempts. Negative yards, that we held them to negative yards, was 5 times, which was 12%. But that number, guess what? These last 3 times we held them for negative yards, Carr was taking a knee. So it was really at the end of the game. So we really held them for negative yards only two times.
That was on a sack, right? We had a sack.
No. We're not looking at pass plays. We're only looking at rush attempps. But they consider that a rush attempt when he take a knee to win the game.
Right.
He took those 3 at the end. So it really was only 2. And so our season to date, teams have ran the ball on us 4 yards or more 109 times. So 64% of the time the opponents run the ball against us.
Right.
They get 4 yards or more 64% of the time.
Okay.
The total for 10 yards or more, we've given up 37. So when teams run the ball on us 20% of the time, they're getting 10 yards or more on the ground. Negative yards per rush attempt, where we have held teams to negative yards this year is 22. So that means we're holding teams at 13% of their runs. We're holding them to negative yards. I didn't even account for 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yards because it's not worth it to see the whole picture. I mean, it would make our numbers not look even worse. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we could just look and see how many, 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yards, and through this whole list. But so B, I'm gonna start off with you first. Let's go with from seeing this, right? The amount of times each game that teams are able to rush for 4 yards or more, and the percentage of their run attempts that are going for that, right? And also 10 yards or more, right? And the amount of the number of times we can hold a team to negative yards within the game, right? What is your key takeaway from this, and what, like, we've been seeing it since week 1. We both have thoughts on it, but just seeing this holistically and not just talking about it and actually seeing it. What is your takeaway from this?
I mean, it's pretty simple. The defense, especially the front 7, it's not getting the. I will use this analogy. Well, I will use this phrase. They're not stopping the train before it gets rolling. I didn't know that until you put it all out there in front of me, until you broke it down. And I have to give you credit on this, Chris. You did the analytics on it. But yeah, they're just not getting the job done. But my question to you would be this: I mean, how do you relate this to the team though? Because I'm pretty sure the coaching staff, when they have game film, when they review film, and they look at each game after they chopped it up. They might have an entire team session or well for defense, and then they go into position groups and they watch film. They got to be seeing the same thing, right? So my thing is this, and we've talked about this before. Is this is it a tackling issue? Is it more so we just missing tackles, or we more so just not gap sound? Is it the defensive scheme itself that's causing us to not touch the running back until 4, 5, 6 yards down the field? What is it? Um, Again, you can show the numbers, and you couldn't have picked a better title than what you did. Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but it can be misleading. When I look at the file, because most people are not going to be analytical like this, right? The average fan, because they're not going to go over film the way you break it down. They're going to look at the final box scores, right? When you open up the
Mhm.
paper, the old school way, when you open up the paper, when you turn it to ESPN.com or
Hey,
Team
people
Stat.
still get newspaper. I didn't even know
Right, right. When they open up the sports section, right? And they're
that.
gonna look at the box section. They're gonna look at the team stats. Oh man, SC held Michigan to 109 yards rushing, and Michigan is a pretty good rushing team. Never mind the fact that you say, well, hey, look, um, their starting running back just so happened to go out, but he was averaging over 5 yards a carry. And what happens when you get into a situation like we got into with Notre Dame, to where we could not get out, to a big enough lead in order to withstand this. And it's true that sometimes when you put a running team behind the eight ball like that, you force them to come out and do what they really don't want to do. Um, could it be a situation to where we've seen the same old story before, to where we get out of the lead and just can't hold it? This isn't a new issue for us. We've been dealing with this issue since 2022, not being able to hold on to a lead, and it's mainly due to stopping the run. Could it be personnel? I tend to think that we got the talent, but evidently we not winning enough one-on-one battles or getting off our blocks up front.
Yeah, I, and I don't. Were you asking me that question, or are you just saying in
Yeah,
general?
yeah. I mean, if you want to answer it, I mean, you crunch the numbers on it.
Uh,
You know,
so, and I might answer it in my takeaway. So my takeaway from seeing this is it's not just the numbers, right? Because
uh,
again, if you just look at numbers and don't look at the game,
right,
which a lot of people do, and I don't think me, I'm a film guy, so I'm
right,
looking, film all the time, and you can testify since game one. What was I saying about this rush defense?
right,
And there's some issues with this rush defense, and
right,
everyone was saying, "Oh, we held them to this many yards," and I'm like, "Well, sacks and all that account for it, but if you look at the amount of times, right, and I'm putting my coach's hat on, that we're giving up 4 yards or more and 10 yards or more on the ground to Missouri State, Georgia Southern." I was like, we have some issues, right? Because this is what happens, right? I mean, my takeaway is from what I've been saying since week one. We can't stop the run, and we haven't stopped the run in any game all year, right?
mm,
Um, it's clear. Like if you're watching those games, you see it from game one, right? The struggles.
right,
Um, I'm gonna say this: Illinois, we understand what happened, but the film still shows what the film, shows. That was the first game that I've really seen. I've seen it in spurts here and there, one or two players, but Illinois was the first time I seen the defensive line like totally dominated and
right,
everybody was getting pushed back.
right,
Right. In the other games, you will see one player here or there, but it wasn't to the level it was against Illinois, right?
hmm
Against Notre Dame, the defensive line was not being pushed back like they was against Illinois, but they were in stalemates and they couldn't get off the blocks. The one consistent thing that I have seen since week one is bad gap integrity by our second level, right? And not coming downhill. To me, it's not a scheme thing. There's no scheme in football unless they're creating something new that I ever heard that linebackers are supposed to sit at 5 and 7 yards and let the offensive line come to them and catch block. I've just never heard of a defensive scheme do that. Why the linebackers are not? Why the linebackers are not coming down? Wait, why the linebackers are not coming downhill? Why they're not reading when that guard and tackle pull, right? And they're not taking that step and reading that and reacting. I don't think the coaches are telling them not to do that. I think it's a lot of, and it has a lot to do with inexperience, right? Not totally being for sure where to go on plays and things of that nature. And then in football, if you take one false step, you're in trouble, right?
Right.
And so that is the takeaway that I'm seeing. And a lot of times in the rush, people are going to automatically blame, to the defensive line. But if you go back and break down that Notre Dame film, it's a lot of times that you're going to see the defensive line was not getting pushed back. I mean, they weren't getting off the block. They was in a stalemate. Right. They were eating up a block, which you want them to do, right? And so your linebackers can run free. That's how you play defense. The defensive linemen eat up the blocks, right? Take on the blockers so that your linebackers can run downhill and fill the gap. And it's not happening.
But here's my issue with that, Chris, though. And now the game has evolved so much to where the coaches, the staff, and the players are able to watch watch the iPads once they come to the sideline, or even at halftime when they go over an adjustment. I'm finding it hard pressed to believe that with the amount of experience we have in coaching at linebacker and defensive line, that these coaches are not pointing this out. So again, could
it be that the coaches are pointing out and
they're just not doing it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because this is the thing, B, I'm like you. I know our coaching staff.
Right.
And we say it every week. And I say, I have a job and 2 babies and a wife. I know they watch way more film than I do. And, and I watch a lot of film, right? On all teams around college football because I just like it, I know they watch the same film, and I find it hard to believe that they're not saying anything about it. But I understand what you're saying. So it's one of the 2 things. Either they're not saying nothing about it, or they is, and the players are
just not doing it.
It got to be one or the 2. Which one? We don't know. We're not in that locker room. We ain't practiced. But I find it hard to believe that they're not saying anything about it.
Here's the thing, and you mentioned it one time before. I don't know whether or not you remember it. Simplifying the defense.
Mm-hmm.
As some defensive play calls might cause for them to either blitz late, maybe even come off the edge, maybe even read the quarterback after the defensive end has crashed down. I don't know whatever play call that they're in, but maybe simplify it to where, hey, look, you see ball, go get ball.
Go get ball. That's right.
Right. You see ball, go get ball.
And here's another thing too, right? That we have to keep in mind, too. I said it before on one of our shows that we don't get to see practice. All we know is we got 600 pounds in beef coming, right, in the portal. All we was hearing how great this defense line is going to be, is going to hold the team. Everybody had question marks around the offense, right? Mm-hmm. And on paper, it looked like we were finally going to take that step and be that dominant defense. But if you take a step back, if you look at it, right, the amount of yards we're giving up this year is only 4 less yards than what we was giving up a game last year. So we made a 4-yard improvement on that in the rush defense.
Okay.
As far as scoring, last year it was 24. I think we're giving up like 23 right now. So we made like a half a point betterment this year. But if you look at it,
let me ask you a question. Would you say we're more equipped? Hold on. Would you say we're more equipped with depth this year, or than we were last year along the defensive line?
Well, hold on real fast. I'm gonna get
All right.
there
All
because
right.
because you have depth. Depth mean bodies.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't mean that you're. It doesn't mean the question we should be asking: do we have depth with playmakers, different makers?
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that
So,
part, but
so
our
check
issue
this out
last
though.
year was we didn't have the depth last year.
So check this out. But check this out though, right? Because if you look at last year, and I think we wanted to have this dominant defense come in, but we didn't take a step back and look at this, right? So last year we had Myers, and I forget the transfer from Vanderbilt, right? They were undersized, but they had
Uh,
played college
yeah,
football. They were
Nate
experienced.
Clifton, Nate
Nick
Clifton.
Clifton, right?
Right, right,
They,
right.
they were undersized to be on the inside, but they had college experience, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
They had experience. They played. Jamil Muhammad, NFL, played for the Rams, right?
Right.
Mason Cobb, East EMAC, right? Linebackers, both NFL roster, right? Greedy Vance, our starting nickel, NFL. Jalen Smith and Covington, our starting corners, NFL. This what's EMAC brother, the safety we had, that
You
came
talking
from
about
Oregon State. Arnold.
uh,
Arnold.
Arnold? Yeah, yeah.
Arnold.
Mascarenas Arnold. Yeah, yeah. I remember the
Yeah.
Arnold brothers. Yeah.
Arnold had starting experience, right? A senior, right? And Ramsey was at the safety. So if you look at the defense we had last year, it wasn't a dominant defense. It was like middle of the pack defense. But yet I just named you what 7 or 8 people off that team that went to the NFL. And now this year we're replacing all that, and the ones who didn't go to the NFL, they had big time SEC experience and things like that.
Right.
And
Right.
what we're replacing all these people with this year is youthfulness, right? Um, we have a lot of depth this year on the defensive line, but it's young depth.
Yeah, true. But
It's young, inexperienced depth.
that's what hurt us last season was the D line wasn't there. We didn't have the beat there, right?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Though we have depth this year and they're talented, again, it's young depth. We're talking about Thanos. He's supposed to be a senior in high school right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's playing against grown men. He's doing a good job, but he still has his body still got some more to grow. We're Floyd Bicard, kid is gonna be a stud, is a stud now. Again, we're talking about a true freshman. You see what I'm saying? So we have all this depth, but it's inexperience. We went and got some beef in the portal, and we just haven't seen the return on investment on that beef we got in the portal. We were all counting on that beef to be the different makers, right? To be able to plug
Hmm.
that A and B gap, be able to play two gaps, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Make
Hmm.
people double and all that. And we're just not seeing it.
But
But
here's the thing: once that depth grows up, we're gonna be missing part. We're gonna be missing key pieces next year. You got to remember, this is Eric Gentry's last season. Kamara Ramsey, even though he's playing out of position, he can go off to the draft next season, which he more than likely will. The Carlos Nicholson, this is his last season. So, at what point do we catch it up to where it all meshes together? Because
it,
last season,
you want
this
to
season,
know you want to know the truth
what's that?
because of how young it is and what we got.
Hmm.
You're looking by the time this class of these freshmen we have now and the red shirt freshmen that we're starting at corner things like that. You're
Hmm.
really looking at 27 before they're sophomores and juniors before I see our defense being the type of defense that we want. That's
Yeah,
when it all catches up. They're all young. They all within these same classes. So it's going to take about you see what I'm saying? That's when it all catches up.
yeah, yeah. But in this day and age of instant gratification, man, and with the
I
amount of things that,
understand that, but we're just
yeah,
we're just looking at
I
how
get what you're
young they
saying.
are.
I get what you're saying. The numbers is they are what they are. I get that part, but you
But
know,
I can tell you this. If we had this defensive line that we have this year with
last season,
with the linebackers and the corners and nickel we had last year, this defense would be amazing.
mm,
And I see why you saying when does it matches up? You see what I
right?
mean?
When does it mesh with each other? But then
Yes.
last season we had the wrong quarterback. That's a whole nother show.
Well,
Don't
we're
get
talking
me
about we're talking
started
about
on that.
we're talking about defense. But if we
Yeah,
had
defensively,
the
but you
linebackers
still got
we
you
had
got to
last
have the
year,
offense. You got to have the offense to get there too. Now they got to match
yeah.
up too, right?
But
So that's a whole other
if
video.
we had the linebackers we had last year, with this defensive line,
Okay,
and
I got it.
especially if we had those corners and nickel,
Oh yeah,
you would see a totally
different
um,
defense. Yeah,
different
I got
defense.
it.
All right,
I got it.
so we seen these numbers to
Right.
get back on it. So outside, I mean, did you give your take? So what is your takeaways from seeing it? I know you asked a question, but I didn't get your actual takeaways from.
Well, my takeaway was, getting back to the drawing board, man. Going back over technique, going back over accountability. The problem is, I don't think we have too many behind the starters to actually pull off those upperclassmen that we have now when they're not performing. We got EG,
Right.
who's a senior. You got Stevens, who's a sophomore, who's a true sophomore, and then you got Jaden Walker, is he a redshirt freshman? He's a
Yep.
redshirt freshman. We got some more
Tamir
guys.
Robinson is a
Jamil
sophomore.
Robinson. Yeah, yeah. So who do you put in behind them? You know, we're gonna have to develop the depth outside of them. Those guys, really buckling down and getting in there and redeeming themselves. They're gonna have to get in there and do something. The answers, that's up for the defensive coaching staff to do. To me, if I'm going to be deficient like this all along, my answer would be sell out to stop the run. Everybody gonna have to beat me through the air, and my corners gonna have to grow up. Again, if you're gonna kill me fast. That way, at least I have an opportunity to get into a shootout. But I can't let you control the clock and eat up yardage the way Penn State was eating up yardage, the way Illinois was eating up yardage. You can't afford to do that.
And my takeaway from this, and it's been my takeaway every week. I've been saying it, and some people might not agree, but it is what it is. The film shows it. I mean, we just broke down the numbers. It showed you by
Right.
game, right?
Right.
So my key takeaway is that we have an issue with we're stopping the run. That if a team wants to run the ball on us, they can. Missouri, Georgia Southern. I mean, that
So
was
so
kind
so so
of.
how would you stop the run then?
Hold on. Let me get to my takeaways,
Okay.
and I'm
Okay.
gonna get to that.
Okay.
We can't stop the run. From looking at this and what's on film and what I've been seeing is that, for one, I think one of our biggest issues again is that our best interior defensive linemen, our most talented, our best players are undersized.
Mm.
Devin Tompkins, um, Thanos,
Thanos,
what I'm
right.
saying? Bakar, those are our best, and those guys under, I'm not for sure Bakar weight, but I know Tompkins
I think Florida Bacard is 300.
I know Tompkins
Thanos
and Thanos
under 300.
under
Right.
300, and those are proven to be our best interior guys. And so when
Mhm.
we play teams with the bigger offensive linemen, it's a lot to ask on them where they get double teamed by 300 pounders, people who got 30 and 40 plus pounds on them. You know what I mean? We brought in beef in the portal to plug those A and B gaps, but like I said, we're just not seeing a return on investment on that.
Right. Right.
And so we're undersized. That's what we see against Illinois and Notre Dame. How I would stop the run, you already know. I already told you how I can tell you how I'll stop the run if I had the personnel. But the question is, how do I think USC should stop the run? You already know. I'm gonna tell you. It's the only way we have been able to stop the run all year, and that's by the offense going out to a big lead and forcing teams to abandon the run and have to pass to catch up. If you look at every game so far, the two games we lost, what was the common denominator? The offense wasn't able to go up and make the other team abandon the run. And so they were able to stick to the run, you know what I'm saying, and run it as much as they want to. And in both those games, look at the amount of yardage they're put up. We've seen for each game that all these teams had success running the ball. The only difference was in the rest of the games, the offense was able to jump out, right? The offense was able to jump out double digit, and teams weren't able to stick to the run. They had to abandon the run to try to catch up and pass the ball. That's the only way I see us stopping the run. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
but what happens when your offense struggles like we did in the game against Notre Dame?
that's what
Because
that's what
you can't expect for them to be able to jump out 2 scores every game. You have to remember we only went in up 1 touchdown on Michigan and they got the ball back. Against Notre Dame, we were actually down at the half, I think 14-13. So what do you do then?
so what I'm saying is from what I'm seeing on film and
Uh
what I have been seeing all year, I don't think we we're in what week 8 going
yeah,
on, no,
week eight.
week
Week eight.
8,
Right.
and we're seeing
We
the
headed
same
to
thing. I'm saying I don't think there's. I've seen us go 5-man front. I've seen us go a 4-2-5. I've seen us go a 4-3. I've seen these different fronts, and we have not been able to stop the run in any of them. So what that tells me is that we just can't stop the run, and the best chance we have of stopping another team from running the ball on us is what I said is for the offense that. And I always say it is too much pressure. It's not fair to the offense to have to play a
right,
perfect
right,
game,
right,
but we are where we are. We see what the winning remedy is, right?
right.
Because anytime that we're in a close game, like we were against Illinois and against Notre Dame, we was in a close game. Guess what they were able to do? They was able to stick with the run because they wasn't worried about having to catch up. And look what they did to us on the ground.
Right. Agree. I agree. I agree.
Now let's talk, schematically wise. As far as stopping the run, we have who we have. We have our personnel. We have our defensive coordinators. I know what you're going to say because we talk about it a lot, but give it to everybody else. Man, I went back and watched our Illinois preview. Boy, you had me tickled, man. I had to watch that again. I was so tickled, man.
Yeah.
Well, I was so tickled, man. Hey, but it's schematically wise. What do you think we should do with what we have? Because really what I said is a cop out, right? Like,
What's that?
and you called me out on it about the only way we can stop and run by having offense go up double digits. So
Right.
that was kind of
Right.
cop out.
Right.
But schematically wise, what do you think we should do to fix these woes?
Me, I say put those linebackers in the gaps, man. Put them in the gaps.
You gonna say
Make,
what you said against Illinois?
yeah. I want to say that because we never did make. Oh, you talking about
The roadblocks.
yeah. Just go have the defensive line just fall down in the gaps
Yeah.
and make the running back jump over them. Hopefully that'll give our linebackers a chance to come up and be proactive. Do something. You got to fall in front of them. Do something. Hold on. Here's an idea. Until the referees decide they want to do their job, hold the offensive lineman. Don't let them get to the second level, and hopefully our
Man,
linebackers
but boy,
fall in the gap.
they'll call him. Remember they called that bogus one against Michigan State on Thanos, talking about some he was being held and talking about he held off the lineman.
It said he was
They'll call everything on us.
yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah, but I would say
Yeah.
just show run blitz on every play, man. Except for third and long, when we just so happen to get a sack or we just so happen to get a TFL, show run blitz every play. Make them check out, make their quarterback check out of it, and then hopefully, our linebackers are still close enough to the gap so where if they do hand it off, they're right there. Other than that, if they show run blitz, somebody's going to bail out, whether it be a defensive end or whether it be the linebackers. But I think we need to show run blitz on every play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you consider third and long? Because Notre Dame was running the ball on 37 and 38.
That was the exception. You can't throw Notre Dame out. That was the exception. They run it.
Notre Dame was running it on 37, 38, man.
The only time they stopped from running the ball is when the offensive coordinator called a pass play. That was the only thing that stopped them from running the ball. So I would call third and long anything anything that's 7 yards or more.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And man, so of course we've been saying it since the Purdue game, right? In all our pregame thing. Stop the run, make the quarterback beat you. I mean, we said it hasn't been a game yet where we faced the quarterback and we said, oh no, play the pass and let them run the ball, because everybody so far that we played, that's what they want to do is run the ball, right? And as a defense, your main goal should always be to whatever the other team wants to do. Their strength is to take it away to the best of your ability and make them beat you the other way. So again, I know in the Notre Dame game we started out in 4-3. I mean, they gashed the 4-3, but then they started throwing a little quick outs and things like that. And I wouldn't adjust it. I still would have stayed with the 3 linebacker set, and you let them have that because you got to make Carr beat you,
Right.
right?
Right.
You have a better chance of your pass rush getting there at some point and just getting him off balance and he get an incompletion, the quarterback get an incompletion, then you expect them the running back to just trip and fall as he running through a big old gap. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
For 7 to 8 yards. Going forward, it's gonna be, you know, the same thing because you're gonna want to stop the run against Dylan Raiola, right? He's not that mobile to get pressure on him, right?
Yeah,
And
I'm not afraid of his wheels at all.
no. But so here's the thing, right? You know who our defense remind me of as far as the makeup right now?
Who?
Do you remember the 2006 Super Bowl Colts, Peyton Manning? You remember how the defensive line was not built to stop the run? It was built for pass rushing because they Tony Dungy and Caldwell. They said, well, we're gonna put up points, so we want to build our defense for speed, not power, because we're not concerned with stopping the run because we're going to get up and teams have to throw the ball on us, and we're gonna get sacks and things like that. And that's why Dwight Freeney, Mathis, and all those undersized guys on that defensive line was balling because Peyton Manning would hop out to a lead and the pass rushers would eat, right? But the only problem is that when you go into a game and your offense is not able to get up, then things like this happen where teams can continue to run the ball, and you're not equipped, you're not built and equipped to handle that.
Right. Which is why I say show run blitz every down. Show run blitz until you get them in
Stop the run.
Line. Yeah.
Stop the run. Here's the thing. It's like you said against Illinois, right? If you just running the ball for 4 yards or more, 64% of your runs, right? You're eating up the clock. We can't get off the field. That means our offense, which we need to be on the field, right, is sitting on the sideline. What do you say? Just, man, beat me deep and I can get my offense back out there and we can get in the shootout.
Right. That's why I say, hey, look, my corners will have to grow up, man. My corners and my safety will just have to grow up. As a matter of fact, I'm bringing one of those safeties down in the box. And we're going to have 3 back there, and they just going to have to grow up. Hey, on the outside, you just going to have to play press man, which is why I don't understand. And maybe this might be something for another video. While we won't play press man on the outside, at least bump those receivers, throw them off their routes, because the majority of these routes are timing routes anyway. Prevent the inside slats, bump them on the outside. That way, your defense got a chance, at least another 4.5 seconds to get back there. But that's just me. Yeah.
And what I do like is, though, against Michigan, you remember they first came out on first down? We did that. And Nicholson was locked up 1-on-1. We got the incompletion, and we both like, that's what we needed. We needed
right, exactly. That was after halftime. Yeah, it was after halftime. Right.
No, that was their first drive.
I thought they came out like that after halftime too, because we got a 3 and out.
The first drive, they got a 3 and out. They came out, their very first drive, threw a ball up the sideline. Nicholson was there. They got behind the sticks. They ran it once, tried to throw again, and we got the ball back. We went down, and that's when tight end fumbled.
Right.
That's when tight end fumbled. And so before we get out of here, just want to touch on one more thing, because a lot of people were saying that the Notre Dame game, Illinois game, the Maryland game last year, the Minnesota game, the road games, right? They're saying, what's the problem with USC on the road? And I'm gonna ask you a question. What are the 2 things that travel with a football team?
2 things that travel with a football team. I want to say discipline.
Well, I might not be asking this question right. So when people say this team is going on the road, they say it's 2 things that travel, right? I'll just tell you, right? A run game and a defense.
Okay.
A run game and defense travels, right? That's what you're gonna hear about any team going on the road. oh, we picked this team to win because they have defense in the run game. That's what travels, right? And if you look at all our road games and all the games that we've lost, um, especially this year, look what didn't travel. So
Well,
when you have that type of dominant and good defense that you can travel with, you know what I'm saying? When you go to the road, you're gonna have a higher chance of winning
here's
because
my
run
thing.
game.
Here's my take. And like you said, we'll get on out of here. Here's my take. If you could play defense at the house, you could play defense on the road.
But
If you
what
can
I'm
play it at the house, you can play it on the road. If you can run the ball at the house, you can run it on the road. It's the same 100 yards, the exact same.
so
The only
here's
thing that changes is the location, right? It's the same football field with the same 100 yards. Nothing
right.
else changes,
But
right?
what I'm trying to say and what we have seen, right, and we looked at this is that even at home we haven't done a good job against the run game.
Well, I tell you one thing we
Saved
have
us.
done, but
What saved us?
I tell you one thing we have done at home. You
What's
want to know
that?
the main difference between home and the road? The
Mm-hmm.
W, the W, the W.
Right. And
If it's the same 100 yards, and this goes toward the mindset and the confidence and the attitude of the players and the toughness. If it's the same 100 yards, right, and we're giving up the same run, we're giving up the same rushing stats that we are on the road, that we are at home, maybe a little more. Let's throw out Notre Dame. Let's throw them out.
you got
That
you
doesn't count. Yeah, that doesn't count. But if it's the same 100 yards, if we're giving up the same amount of rushing yards, what's the difference between at home and on the road? It's the W. It's the
and no,
W.
there's another big difference you're missing.
What's that?
Is that at those home games,
What's
the
the
offense was able to jump out. The offense was able to get space and go up double digits, and teams stopped having to run the ball, right, and go to pass. And that's where we're good. Like our pass rushers are definitely better than the pass rushers we had last year. But
Mhm.
in order for our pass rushers to eat like that, we have to get them in passing situations. And as long as team can run the ball like that on us, we can't get in those situations. Both games on the road, we were not able to get to a lead to put these teams in the same situations that we put these teams in at home.
Okay.
That's the difference. At home, if we was in a close game with any of those other teams and they got to keep running the ball and not have to abandon the run and keep passing, they would have put up the same amount of yards, 200 plus yards as Illinois or Notre Dame. You see what I'm saying? The biggest key is that the offense has put so much pressure on the other team that it's made them having to stray away from the run because they have to keep up to try to catch up, and that's where we're getting those sacks. That's where we're getting those tackles for loss. That's where we're getting those sacks because now you're in pass situation, and now those pass rushers we have can get there. That's
Mhm.
where that's when they can beat you with that speed. And so the thing is that if we're in a close game and teams don't have to abandon a run and they can continue to run the ball like that, it's tough to get off the field because we struggle to stop the run. And that's why I said our best run defense is the offense being able to put distance in between and get up 2 or 3 scores so that teams can't stick with the run. And that's just
Well,
what I've seen from this year.
yeah.
That's just
Well,
what I've seen from the numbers. That's what I've seen in the games. That's what I've seen.
yeah.
And both losses on the road, that's been, like you said, it's been the same rush defense at home as it's been on the road. The difference between us winning them home games and them games on the road is that the offense was able to separate and go up multiple scores to get those
But
teams to be able to
again,
run.
in a situation, and this could be another video, in a situation to where our offense is going to struggle, you got to do something different on defense. It's going to be a few times where the defense is going to have to help the offense out. They're going to have
It
to.
has to be. I
Right,
remember I said that from game one that I
right,
said you can't expect the offense to play at a high level every game. Some days they just like they're gonna have a bad game, and I'm
right.
hoping that Notre Dame game, the offensive line, it was their first bad game, and I'm hoping that was just that one where
Right.
the stars were aligned against us, and that was just our bad game, and we bounce back and the offense gets to going. But remember, I said from game one, I said I don't think we. I said at some point your defense has to win a game for you. Remember, I was talking about how the defense when we went up to Oregon State with Caleb, and
Right.
even that was Grinch defense. They actually won that game for us. You know what I'm saying? But I was saying at some
Yeah,
point,
but his defense lost every other game. So
yeah.
just like
But I'm saying
that
at
Notre
least they,
Dame game I threw out, I'm going to throw out that Oregon State game because
but I'm just saying,
yeah,
that's a perfect example
yeah.
where
I
a
got what you're saying.
defense that was bad, that actually, you know what I'm saying,
Showed up.
covered the
Yeah,
offense
yeah.
for that was one game that year they covered the offense and Caleb went down on the last second drive and scored. And it's
Right.
like and I was saying it from game one this year, like I was like, I don't know if this defense can win us a game.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? From what I'm seeing, like, and we can't expect the offense to play perfect every game. They're going to have a bad game. That's the difference when you look at Ohio State, right? You're looking at Georgia and Alabama and things like that, right? Their defense are winning them games, right?
Yeah.
Their defense, they're in Indiana, right? Their offense didn't start good last week. They after they blew out Illinois, who that they play that next week? They played, I want to say like Northwestern. It was somebody they should have blown out. They almost lost to because offensively they couldn't get anything going, but their
Right.
defense won them that game until the offense got going. Indiana started off late again this Saturday, started off slow, but their defense held it down. You know what I'm saying? Until the offense can finally score on the last couple of drives to put some distance there. Their defense held them down. So the question is like what you're asking is, and what we're both asking is that when the offense struggles, can this defense win us a game?
Well, I guess that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen.
Well, we know Saturday the offense didn't play to what the offense has been playing, right? They still did some good things, but the offense wasn't perfect. Like, they ain't been perfect all year. That's hard to say, but they haven't played to the level that they've been playing at a high level, right? To what we've seen
Right.
all year. And we've seen what happened, right? 300 plus yards on the ground. Couldn't against Illinois. I mean, the offense didn't play perfect. They scored on every drive except 3. The turnover and the 2 turnovers and 1 point, they scored on every other drive, but defense wasn't able to help them out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unfortunately, we scored on every drive except 3. The other team scored on every drive except 2.
Right. Right.
But man, we're gonna wrap this up. I don't know, B. Are we gonna go live? I think they play at 11. Nebraska and Northwestern. That's our next 2
No,
games.
I don't think they played at 11. I don't think they played at 11. I thought they played at 2:30.
Do they play at 2:30? I don't know why I thought I seen it at 11. But do you wanna? You think we
Yeah,
wanna do a
we'll
live
squeeze in.
game?
We definitely gonna squeeze in a live. We'll drop a post and let everybody know what time we'll be going live.
Them our next 2 games, so we're definitely gonna check them out, see what they got to offer. To start getting our scouting report ready for Nebraska. So that will definitely be interesting. We'll be able to see the baby Mahomes. But as far as 4th and 9, we appreciate you guys. Man, keep subscribing, commenting, share the videos. We definitely appreciate you. Do you got anything before we get out of here?
And like you said, just echoing the same thing, man. Continue to like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all of the people that subscribe already. Let's continue to grow the channel. We got 5 more games left in the regular season, just 5. Season is flying by. Then hopefully, we'll have something positive going on at the end of the season. Hopefully it'll be a great bowl game or possibly even a playoff. But that's up to the
man, I'm about to say we want to play.
Yeah.
I know great bowl. Hey, I ain't no great bowl guy. I want playoffs, man.
Right.
But again, appreciate everybody. We're going to get out of here as always till later on. Fight on.
Fight on.